Hi there, this is Phil with PhilFX, and I wanted to have just a very brief introductory tutorial on working with Autodesk Maya. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got an icon for Maya here on my toolbar, so let's open this up. So I click on it, it opens up. You've got a splash window that tells you this is Maya 2020. If you are the first time that you've opened it, Maya actually shows a different splash screen. What I will do is, let me go in here, and the first thing I'll do is change the preference so when we open Maya the first time you see that. So I go into Windows, Setting and Preferences, and I go to Interface, and here I show the new highlight settings window at startup. Okay, so what I can do is I'll quit this, close Maya, don't save anything. All right, let's open Maya again. So Maya opens up, comes on the screen, and here we go. So we have the new features and highlights. So that's typically how yours will open up. All right. I use Maya so much that I really don't need this, but if you want it, you can have it. If you decide you don't need to see this every time, right here you can just click on this to show it startup and say okay, and then the next time Maya starts up, it won't show that. So this is pretty much the view of Maya. It's can be quite inundating, and I understand that for somebody who's not used the program before. There's lots and lots and lots of controls here. So let's get this couple of things just going right off the top. So you can see you have a menu bar going across. I obviously have a Macintosh computer. If you're working on a Windows machine, the only difference between a Mac and Windows is this menu bar here is actually up on the top menu bar of the computer. Because Mac operates inside a separate window itself for the application. The menu bar is inside here. So that's really the only difference. The other big difference is obviously the keyboards on a Windows machine. When we look at, let's look at something here. So we have undo here is Command Z, which is on a Macintosh. On a Windows PC, that would be Control. So almost universally, every time you see a command that's a Command Z, if you just substitute Control instead of Command, that's exactly what it would be for a Windows PC. So if you see my tutorials and I talk about Command Z and I talk about Command V, something like that, you just in your mind, if you've got a Windows machine, if you just think Control instead of Command, it should work exactly the same. All right, so we have all of these menus that go across here, and Maya has this feature where there are so many commands that they have to have a different way of breaking it down. So what you do is you tend to put Maya in a specific mode depending upon what you're wanting to do. One of the first things you want to do usually with Maya is you want to model. So we go over here, and this drop down says make my menu bar for modeling. All right. If you're doing something that's called rigging, we'll talk about rigging later on in class. Rigging is something that you do to a character or an object so that you can animate it. So we would say rigging, and notice what happened is my menu up here changed. Okay, let me pop back to Windows, to modeling. Okay, so if you look at File, Create, File, Edit, Create, select Modify, Display in Windows, these items never change. Okay. The next menu item past Windows is what changes. So if I go to rigging, notice this changed here to skeleton. I go to animation, this changed to key for keyframes. If I go to special effects, this goes to the particle menu, so on and so forth. Okay, and you can even customize this. So you can create your own custom menu set. Yes, if you wanted to make a new menu set for a specific set of commands for something that you do all the time, you can do that. So you're going to find as we march through this that Maya is almost infinitely customizable. That's both kind of a blessing and a bane in that it gives you tremendous power, but it also can be very confusing, especially when you're getting started. Another couple of quick things that's really nice, I find it very handy rather, is these menus can be torn off. So like, let me click on mesh. So this comes down and you see this double line right here. So I can click on that, and now this menu has been torn off and it stays up on top. This is really handy when you're working in this area in here and you want to use a command. Okay, you can actually tear off a menu and have it available for you so you can work with it. When you're done with the tear off, you just click and it's still there. Okay, so you didn't remove it. All right, you just made basically a copy of it that you could put on your desktop, and you can have more than one. All right, so I can have lots of different kinds of menus and have them open available to me on my desktop, and I can use them as I see fit. So going down, then we have the icon bar. And so we have lots of icons here that Maya uses. Don't worry about it, you will learn them. Just one thing about this is you see these little bars here that are dividers, and sometimes it has a little box, sometimes it has a little diamond. If it's got a little diamond, that means that there's something in there. So I can click on that and this opens up. Or I can click on it again and it collapses. I can click on this and this opens up and it shows me some more icons. I can click on that and it closes down. So there's lots of different things here relative to how this functions. You'll see a sign in over here. Don't worry about that. You don't need to be signing in to use the program, but this is more of an advanced feature depending upon what kind of license that you have. Okay, below this then we have the shelf, what's called the shelf, and so we have these tabs that bring up different icons, quick ways of accessing commands depending upon what you're doing. So if I'm doing modeling, okay, I can go in here and I can quickly access a command to do something. If I'm doing rendering, I can call this up and I can get quick access to commands that work with the function of the program. Going down here, these are the most common tools, commands that you will use. Okay, so this is for selecting, this is for moving, or this is selecting with an outline rather, this is selecting with a oval, this is selecting with a paintbrush, this is for moving an object, for rotating an object, and for scaling an object. So if we go in here into polygon modeling and I put a sphere in here, okay, I can go in and I can take this and click on it and I can move my object. I can take and I can rotate my object, and I can click on this and I can scale my object. All right. You will quickly learn that there is a faster way to do this, and these basically are the W, E, and R keys on your keyboard. All right. Q deselects things. So this is W, this is E, this is R. All right. And these shortcuts, you'll get to a point where you really know them by hand. And so this allows you to take and move an object. This allows you to rotate the object, and R allows you to scale an object. All right. This is your viewport, and the viewport is basically a camera. And so this camera is showing you what you're modeling. It has menus itself, and it has icons that allows you to control how that camera operates and what you view. Down at the bottom here we have a timeline. Maya is used for animation, so we can change things over time, and this is how we do it with our timeline. Over here on the right hand side is we have a couple of panels that automatically come up. One is called the channel box, and its partner is really the attribute editor. So when you create something, it has a whole bunch of very specific parameters, and you can change those parameters with the attribute editor or with the channel box. All right, so that pretty much covers just opening Maya and getting started in a nutshell. There's a lot more tutorials to come and a lot more things to learn, but this should give you a brief overview to help get yourself started.